Hey everyone, this is Dread from Miss Valley Entertainment News. Well, Starfield's biggest ever update is here. Did you think I was not going to comment on it? I mean, it's Starfield. It's the game of the year. It's the most amazing, most innovative game ever made. Come on. Of course, we're going to have to get into it. We're going to react to a video from Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear called We Just Got the Biggest Ever New Update for Starfield. Let's settle back and get comfortable and get into this, shall we?
Welcome back to the channel. I am Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear, and after a very short delay, what some have been calling the Starfield Mega Patch has now just entered beta test. It's fairly easy to install over on Steam. Just select properties and then find the betas icon and the drop down for this latest beta, which by the way is 11.5 gigs in size. From there, it's going to auto download and install, and you're in. And I've now had a chance to get in a little hands-on time with this new build and look over the mountain load of changes, and there's just a lot here to digest. So, if you haven't yet done so, consider hitting subscribe as well as ringing the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are of course always appreciated. Chapters are up and in place to assist you in finding specific areas of this video.
By the way, I'm pretty sure, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this footage is of a modded character, as in a mod has fixed the character AI of this, which is if so, that's a little disconcerting in that you're showing footage of Starfield, but you're actually showing something that a modder has fixed without saying so, making it look like that's the game. The characters in the game don't look like that. They don't look like that. They don't act like that. They're not expressive at all. They're a blank fucking wall. So that's a little that's a little concerning to me if that's so. Let me know in the comments below, because I don't think Starfield's characters, without a mod fixing them, look and act this way. Nothing I've ever seen shows that.
Video, and before we dive into the full breakdown, here's a quick word from today's sponsor.
Nope. No sponsors. No sponsors, Buzz. F your sponsors.
Free shipping. And thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring this video.
Whatever.
Starfield Update 1.9.47.0 is now live on the Steam beta.
Biggest one ever,
yeah. Ironed out, and it should go live in a couple of weeks. So, before I get that inevitable question, is it live yet for console? No, not today. Now, the bulk of this update I will speak on a little later in this video, as that will involve the quest and random encounters bug fixes, but for general fixes, the rather bothersome bug where crew and companions would all crowd up around the bridge hatch and cockpit after fast traveling to your ship has apparently been sorted out. So
that's not a bug. That's a major F up. That's a major F up. Game shouldn't launch like that, and if it does, it should get fixed in the first 2 weeks. All right, I'll be quiet now.
Now you can get in and out of that area without testing out your rugby skills. Another mildly disturbing fix has to do with player characters in third-person view and how their eyes would remain shut, like, all the time. And thanks to Bethesda, we can now blink. And one fix that I am also grateful for, invisible creatures on certain planets are now showing up. As there were times I would be standing planetside reviewing my map or something of the sort, and I would just start taking damage out of nowhere from an unknown source. I could hear the creatures making noises, I just couldn't see them. General stability and save game issues also received a pretty hefty pass, as well as the issue with Windows users not being able to save their game if the username featured certain characters is now solved. Save game corruptions on both Microsoft Store and Steam has also been addressed, as well as added optimizations to cloud syncing of save games for both Microsoft Store and Xbox. Improved crowd behaviors have been added for various scenarios, along with various stability improvements, and overall, at least for me on PC, stability was really improved with that patch that included DLSS implementation for NVIDIA GPU owners. Ever since then, my game has been steadily hitting 80 FPS or higher on full ultra, everything pegged to the limits, playing in full 4K. which is a perfect transition to graphics improvements. And this is an area of the game that could look downright rough in certain areas, especially environmental textures and non-essential NPCs. So overall, I count 40 individual graphic improvements listed in the patch, starting off with improved widescreen support for 32 by 9, 21 by 9, and 16 by 10 resolutions. Work was done to add on shadows from planet rings in orbit down to the planet's surfaces, as well as character skin on Xbox and PC medium, high, and ultra settings. Now, this was shown off in tweets by Bethesda demonstrating before and after shots so that character skin no longer looks highly reflective and it actually looks way more realistic. Flicking fixes, yeah, say that 3 times very fast in a row, were repeatedly mentioned in this changelog, like environmental VFX fixes to sandstorms, acid liquid pools and waterfalls, also various shadow popping, hair, and even in space flicking, especially for you Series S users. Work was also performed to remove various FSR2 and DLSS artifacts, such as noise, black dots, and ghosting, along with various geometry, textures, ghosting issues, and improved lighting effects were installed at 73 locations. Outpost also made the changelog, and besides various rare bug issue fixes, one item that has plagued my Outpost experience has been with cargo links. And let's just get brutally honest here, those things have been seriously fucked up since the game launched. You have all the outposts correctly built, they have helium-3, you have the cargo in the outgoing or incoming box, and for some reason, the link cannot be established on the cargo link terminal. It just doesn't show up, or if it shows up, it just can't be enabled. I've tried demolishing the landing pads, rebuilding them, I mean everything and anything, but they are here in the patch notes, and I'm going to be watching those changes closely during my time with this beta. Before we move on to the major section of the fixes, let's talk about a couple of other noteworthy areas. First off, FOV and zoom issues have been addressed with weapon scopes. You also have a few skill tweaks. Phase time and the solar flare power have also been fixed. Asteroids following your ship apparently fixed again, hopefully forever. And quite a number of issues with ships, like ship hatches being marked inaccessible, ship building, ship targeting, and various other rare occurrences. All right, now on to the main event, quest and random encounter fixes, and there are 35 in total. Now, many of these are labeled as rare occurrences or possible control lock issues if a specific order of actions were performed. Here's the entire list, scrolling across your screens, and check in the video description for a link to the full patch notes. But the Crimson Fleet Eye of the Storm quest shows up several times, and I know that has been a point of issue for many players out there, especially concerning the data transfer not starting after placing the data core, and issues docking with the legacy while attempting to reload a save before starting that mission. But let's get brutally honest again. For many Starfield players, what's missing is all the stuff they really want, many of which were teased back in December when Bethesda made their future plans for Starfield public. Changes like new ways to travel, especially planet-side, city maps, expanded ship customization options, gameplay options that would allow players to expand just beyond difficulty levels, things like carry capacity, cargo access range, ship damage, vendor credits, afflictions, new survival mechanics, and a whole lot more. You know, official mod support would have been a great shadow drop for this update, as console players are eager to try it out, and sadly, there's nothing here about those. Or even a performance mode for Series X, because I do read your comments and I've watched the video from Digital Foundry applauding the previous performance patches and theorizing that a 60 FPS mode for X is definitely obtainable. And finally, there's nothing here about fast travel and or all those loading screens, new handcrafted areas versus what we have, which is procedurally generated and repeated encounters, or, you know, even ways in which to make space travel more immersive. But there it all is. Leave me any questions and I will do my best to respond. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell. Likes, comments, shares are always welcome. All my socials can be found in the video description. We are nearly to 189,000 subscribers, and I thank each and every one of you that have stuck with me over the years. Until the next one, this is Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear, signing off.
Oh, is it over? Oh, thank God. That's my second time going through that video. Wow. Wow. Ooh, that was exciting, wasn't it? Oh yeah. Yeah. Thank you to Lieutenant Buzzkill there. Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear, yes, for that excellent video on this excellent game. Okay, so thoughts. Let me give a few props first of all. I'm going to give props to Bethesda because they fixed a couple things. They did. That's a good thing. There you go. You get a golf clap, Bethesda. You fixed a couple things. I'd like to point out it's 4 months after the game launched, and you just started just now. Just the front upper tickling the front edge, the leading edge of fixing some things. Hmm. That's not so good. Um, if you listen to Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear and his talking during this video, which I didn't, but I did the first time, but not this time. I just had a nice nap. That was great. We did miss all the sponsor stuff. Yeah, we skipped that. Okay, that's right. I remember that now. If you listen to Buzz here though, you'll notice even as a Starfield fan, he is pointing out a lot of the things that were or still are wrong with the game, as well as a lot of things that did not happen here. This is still a mess of a game. I will say that the only other game that is launched, a big game, lately, in the last little bit, that is launched in this kind of state, was Cyberpunk 2077, and it got absolutely roasted online. And Starfield deserves all that and more for following that. For following that, they deserve even more of that. Starfield was not a finished game, period. I don't care that you can play the game start to end. It's not a finished game. Still is not a finished game 4 months after launch. This game should have launched in early access. It is an early access game at full price. Well, to those who actually had to pay for it. Those on Game Pass, you got it for free, basically. It is an early access game that launched at full price with major bugs and major technical issues and major things that should have been in the game that weren't even, for the looks of it, weren't even begun to be designed yet by the team. And yet, this game should have had an early access tag on it and been much cheaper. But instead, they rushed this game out. I'm going to say minimum a year before it should have been put out. Minimum. Maybe 2. Only time will really tell on that. But, and this should have had an early access tag on it. This is an embarrassment for the gaming industry, and it's an embarrassment for gamers. And if they had any pride in themselves at all, this would be an embarrassment for Bethesda. Now, as you heard Lieutenant Buzz say, things that they promised that they were doing back in September that we were going to be getting for Starfield. I say we as a gaming community, not we, including me. I'm not playing it. I don't know it. No thanks. The things that we were going to get included into it, they said, the big things people wanted, crickets. Nothing. As well, there are still many bugs still to chase after in this game. There are many systems that have not even been implemented yet that need to be implemented. I am convinced this game launched with those systems. Probably they wanted to have them in the game, but they hadn't even begun designing them, which is why I say it's a minimum a year from when it should have launched. Probably 2. They had not even begun to work on some of these things, because if they had been working on them and they just weren't quite ready, they either would have thrown them into the game as an early access game and said these don't work, but we'll work on it, or they would have had them out far earlier than 4 months after game launch. Especially the amount of people, I can't remember how many people they said, but a couple hundred people still working on this game, they say. Yeah. Um, so I will give props. Bethesda went out and fixed some bugs 4 months after the game came out, but that's not good enough. It's a start to make things better, but it's not good enough. Too little, too late. This is again is a game that is an early access game, but was never put into the early access tab. You were charged full price for it if you paid for it, and the systems were not ready for this game. This game was far from being ready to launch. But this is what companies do now. They will rush a game out in a messy, buggy, terrible, unfinished state because they know they can get your money in their hands quicker. That's all it really comes down to. It's about money. It's about greed and money. It's always about greed and money. Greed and power, greed and money. That's what it is. So, Starfield, biggest ever new update. Thanks to Lieutenant Buzzkill over there. Thank you, Lieutenant Buzz Lightbeer. Appreciate it, I guess. And let me know down below what you think, guys. I mean, I've had my say. Time for you to have yours. From Miss Valley Entertainment News, covering Starfield. My name is Dread. Good night.